Alright, welcome to the YouTube video. This is a video about dimensional analysis, which is very confusing to a lot of people, and so hopefully this video will just make it a little bit simpler. So, the question is, what is dimensional analysis? Hopefully this will make it clear exactly what you're doing. So dimensional analysis is a method of converting units or rates, such as millimeters to inches or meters per second to miles per hour. It will be a lot more useful, I'd say, for converting rates, but it is also quite useful for units. If you're going to be converting, let's say meters to feet, feet to inches, and then inches back to meters, something like that. I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. In case you do, dimensional analysis will be very useful. So let's go to our first practice here. So I'm going to have a link in the description to a Desmos activity, which will be this one here, and I just want you to follow along as I go through here. So we're going to start with a distance of 47 feet. Well, that doesn't need dimensional analysis to convert to meters, but we're going to convert it to meters anyway. So we start with 47 feet, which is labeled quite strange in there, but that's okay. So what we want to do here is we want to create this kind of table thing. It's an interesting thing, but here you go. So we have that, and we want to put our 47 feet there. We don't need anything down here because it's not going to be used. So the next thing we want to do is we want to put in, let's go for orange here, 1 meter. Wow, why did you do that? Oh, that's because I didn't do math. 1 meter there, and then we also want 3.28 feet. Okay. Now, how are we going to know which way this goes? Are we going to have a meter on the bottom and feet on the top, or feet on the bottom and a meter on the top, right? So the way that you determine that is you want to look at the units here, which in this case is feet, and then that's going to be your units on the bottom. So 3.28 feet and 1 meter. And so if you think about it, the reason this is going to be on the bottom is basically what you're doing here is you're multiplying by a fraction. Or you could see this as multiplying these two together and then having a division problem, but either way it's the same thing. So this is going to be 47 feet times 3.28 feet. Which is going to get you 154.16 feet squared, which is, how you'd write an area. And then when you divide that by 1 meter, dividing by 1 doesn't change anything, but dividing by a meter does. So basically you're going to get 154.16 feet squared per meter, which doesn't make sense because that's not what we were trying to convert to. We were trying to just convert to meters. So if you have a problem and it ends up like that, then you've probably accidentally flipped these upside down. And yeah. So feet is our original unit, and so it's going to be on the bottom. And then what we're trying to convert to is going to be on the top. And then the reason that this is the correct way is because 47 feet times 1 meter equals 47 feet meters, which is a weird unit that you're not going to use, but you're dividing then by 3.28 feet, so it's going to end up as just meters, because the feet are going to go away, because we don't worry about them, because feet divided by feet is 1, because anything divided by itself is 1, and so then it's just 3.28. Yeah, anyway. Okay. So yeah, the feet go away. Don't need them anymore. So then basically we have 47 times 1. Well, we already know what that is. It's just going to be 47. So we can do 47, and then we're going to have 47 meters now. And then we want to divide that by 3.28, and we don't need to worry about the units because they're already canceled out. So yeah, 47, divide that by 3.28. So that was what you do for dimensional analysis with a simple problem like that. It doesn't normally take that long. Don't worry, I was just explaining it very slowly. But yeah, when you get used to this, it'll take much less time than it took here. So now we have 375,000 seconds, and we want to know how many days that is. Well, see, now we don't know exactly the conversion from seconds to days, but we do know the conversion from seconds to minutes, and then minutes to hours, and then hours to days. So we can go like that in steps. So first, we're going to put 375,000 seconds, and apparently it's just going to be 375,000 seconds, but abbreviated. Okay, anyway, then we are going to change the color. You don't have to change the color if you don't want to, but we want to keep in mind these. So we have 1 minute, and apparently that's just going to be minute, but also abbreviated, and then 60 seconds. Okay, so we got that. Then 1 hour to 60 minutes. And then 1 day to 24 hours. So there we go. We have all of these numbers here. So how are we going to get this to be days? Well, let's go ahead and draw that thingy again. So we draw a line going across, and then we separate it here. Separated once, twice, 3 times, and that should be able to get us 4 spaces here, because we'll be doing 3 conversions, and we need 1 for the original number. Okay, so that's not going to fit perfectly, but that's okay. So what we want to do is we want to convert seconds to minutes. Okay, well, we got to find the ones that are labeled seconds and minutes. We found those. So just remember, the one that has the same units as your original number goes on the bottom. And there we go. So we can then go ahead and get rid of these right here. Go away. And now we have minutes. Right. So now we want to convert minutes to hours. So we find the one labeled minutes and the one labeled hours. And these are here. So we have 1 hour, and that is equal to 60 minutes. And once again, on the bottom, because our units are going to be in minutes. And so then we can go ahead and cancel those out as well. And then we want to find the one that's days to hours. So we'll go ahead and grab this. We want day on the top and hours on the bottom, which, you know, that's kind of not fitting all that well, but it's okay. It's okay. If you do this on a piece of paper, you'll have plenty of room. Okay, so hours, and then, yeah, they cancel out. And so our final units are going to be days, which makes sense because that is exactly what we're trying to convert to. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to write an equation for that. So how do you write an equation for that? Well, basically, I'll show you what I do. So each one of these I turn into a fraction, right? And then this original number stays exactly the same. So what we do is we do 375,000, and then each of these fractions we want to multiply by each other and then multiply by the original number. So multiply by, and then we're going to have three numbers here. And we're going to have 1 divided by 60. And then we're going to have 1 divided by 60 again, and then 1 divided by 60. That's the wrong, 1 divided by 24. There you go. And so as you can see, all of these are going to make our number smaller, which makes sense because we're going to a bigger unit, and so therefore our value is going to decrease. So, as you can see, 375,000 seconds is equal to 4.34 days. That's the only unit we don't have crossed out, and so that's how we know that that's what we're going to be reporting our answer in. So 375,000 seconds equals 4.34 days, and that is how you do a multi-step conversion such as that. Okay, this one's gonna be a little different. So I want you to try this one by yourself first, and then after you have an answer, we're going to go ahead and work through it. Okay, well, hopefully you paused it, and if you didn't, then pause it. Seriously. Okay. I'm gonna take your word for it that you did it, and we're gonna go ahead and try this out here. Well, that was a strange sound. Anyway, so we want to convert 8 hours to seconds. Okay, well, we're starting out with 8 hours. Now, things to keep in mind. Oh, by the way, that is incorrect. That should say 1 minute there. That will be changed by the time you look at it. But yeah, it should say a minute there. It says an hour. It will say a minute. Okay. Anyway. So we have 1 hour to 60 seconds. Then we have 1 minute. Oops. 1 minute to 60 seconds. And I also did that one incorrect. 60 minutes. Okay, there you go. Once again, make these ones orange. Okay. Now let's go ahead and draw our thingy. We'll separate it twice because we have 2 conversions to make. 1 and 2. Right. So, we're going to go ahead and put 8 hours right here. So, we want to convert minutes to hours. Okay, well, minutes is going to go on top, hours on bottom, because hours is here, and so we want them to cancel out. Then we want to convert from minutes to seconds. So seconds on top and minutes on bottom. And then we'll work on canceling out the units. So no more hours, no more minutes. And that leaves us with seconds as our units. So let's go ahead and convert to those. So, we're going to be putting this in an equation again. So, we're going to do 8 times 60, and that's 60 over 1 technically, but you don't really have to write that. It's just times 60, and then times 60 again. And a nice shortcut you can do is you could say 60 times 60 is 3600. And then you know how many hours are in 1 second. Or not hours. How many seconds are in 1 hour? Yeah. So it'll be 3600 seconds in 1 hour. And then you can multiply that by 8 to figure it out. But if you got 28,800, good job, that is the correct answer. The video officially ends here, but that's not where the Desmos activity ends. So I'm just gonna say, try and do those yourself. Feel free to email me if you have questions. Yeah, that's the end. That's my dimensional analysis video. Hopefully it helped.